education is one of the most powerful ways over the long term to grow the church and make it really solid and strong. Kids are coming every day. They're hearing about Jesus. They're singing songs. They go home, they take it into their families, into their communities. That becomes blended, and the families become more involved, and the church grows and becomes strong in an area. So I really like the education side of what we do. It's, to me, it touches my heart, maybe even more than building the churches.
Over the 5 decades of our history, Maranatha has become synonymous with providing urgently needed places of worship around the world. But in addition to constructing churches, Maranatha helps to provide schools for thousands of children. Today, we'll take a look at several places where Maranatha is making a difference in the lives of children now and for eternity. Quality education requires quality structures, something that is lacking in many schools around the world. Dedicated school staff do their best to create environments conducive for learning, but their efforts are often hampered by deplorable learning conditions.
It's hard to explain how bad some of the buildings are in some of the places that we work or are currently looking to work. I can't even imagine how the young people exist there. On a day school campus, it's maybe not as pronounced, although the campuses can be dark and dingy in the classrooms, and it's not good for learning. Ventilation might be bad. But you get to a boarding campus, it's terrible. Frankly, I don't know why the kids go there. You get into issues of sanitation, food preparation. Before you can learn, you have to live. And they're not living very good when you're crammed 100 and some kids into a very small dormitory with maybe a blanket over a piece of plywood. Are you going to sleep well? Probably not. The roof might leak. So does infrastructure make a difference? Oh, it's huge. And these kids deserve better than what they've had for so many years. So it's exciting to be able to be a part of it.
For more than 20 years, Maranatha has been actively working in the vast country of India. Our work started in the northern part of the country with a small project at a school campus in the town Roorkee. Over the next 2 decades, the effort would spread to result in large evangelism meetings and the construction of more than 1,500 churches. Despite obstacles for the more traditional means of spreading the gospel, Adventist members in India are finding other ways to share God's love.
It has been tough in past couple of years that the word of God cannot be spread the way it used to be spread. But, when one door closes, the other door opens, and the word of God cannot be stopped. And one of the ways of spreading the word of God is education.
Adventist schools up and down the country of India are respected by members of all faith communities. Their high standards of education and dedication to instilling values in students draws families of many different backgrounds. This creates opportunities to share Christ. One key educational institution is the Kunti Adventist School in the state of Jharkhand. Established in 1937, 8 decades later, the school is thriving with an enrollment of more than 1,300 students. High academic standards, an empathetic and caring staff, and a welcoming spiritual environment draw families to the campus, but the infrastructure left much to be desired. Elementary students studied in broken-down buildings that were hot during the summer and leaked during the rainy season. The learning conditions were less than ideal.
So they're not able to study as much they're supposed to study and concentrate. At the same time, moral of the teachers also there, they don't have.
The school also lacked a proper space for assemblies and worships. Children used to meet in the cafeteria, but there wasn't enough space for everyone to sit, and some were forced to stand in the back.
And when they used to have church in the cafeteria, they used to feel like we have not come to the church or to worship, but always they'll be thinking when the food will be served for them.
In 2018, Maranatha committed to building a large elementary education center on the Kunti campus. In mere months, an empty plot on the campus was transformed into a beautiful structure, and the building was ready to welcome hundreds of students.
Students are very happy, and when they come to class, when they come to school, now they are so excited because they want to get inside the classroom and sit because of the benches. Benches are new and nice, and classroom is nice. So they are also very excited to come to school nowadays, and in their faces we can see that they are happy.
New classroom helps me study better because there is new whiteboards, desks, switchboards, windows, everything new, flooring. That's why I want to study in the new building.
The beautiful new structure provides more than bright classrooms and a spacious place for the student body to meet. It is a tool the school is using to share God's love with as many as they can.
When this building came up, it gave us a moral boost that yes, now we can have more students, more field, and we can tell the love of God to the people through this building education. Educate them for eternity, which is the main focus of our goal. Indeed, it has done a great job.
After completion of the large school building at Kunti, it was time for Maranatha to move on and help another school community in need. Set in the rolling hills of northeast India, the Jing Minge Adventist School offers K to 10th grade education for nearly 500 students. Though the Jing Minge School has a great reputation with the community and is overflowing with students, it is merely surviving when it comes to the desperate condition of the physical facilities. Students study in leaky, dark, and congested classrooms. The buildings are sinking and often flood. The deficiencies make learning challenging. These conditions are inadequate on their own, but to make matters worse, an open sewer line sits directly next to the classrooms, making teaching and learning nearly impossible. In 2019, the school reached out to Maranatha. We agreed to construct a new campus for the Jing Minge Adventist School. The property is 5 minutes away and sits atop a hill covered in trees with views into a green valley below.
When I heard the news that Maranatha and then those God's people will come and help to build a school, I'm so thankful to God. And then I feel that God works in a very mysterious way at the right time and the right moment.
In February of 2020, a group of volunteers came and began construction on the new school. After the volunteers departed for home, local crews continued construction on the campus until work was halted due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Eager to continue building the school, the workers chose to shelter in place on the construction site and asked the local town leadership for permission to keep working. Their sacrifice and diligence has resulted in major progress, and the campus is nearing completion. This new campus will not only give relief to the horrendous conditions, but improve the school's ability to radiate the gospel in its community.
Jing Minge, in our language, it is mean that is a light, and then I can say that our school it is really live up to that name, Jing Minge.
When we come back, travel to the continent of Africa and see how schools are making a huge impact for Christ.
Have you ever met someone who didn't like waterfalls?
We haven't either. The dollars you give to Maranatha Volunteers International are creating waterfalls. Like this one in India, in Kenya, and Brazil. Maranatha is bringing clean, accessible water to hundreds of communities. Water for all that eases the burden on these women and their families. Water that in some cases would have to be purchased, depleting monthly income. Water that is safe to drink and share with a neighbor. Water to grow a garden. Water for children going to school. So the next time you're inspired by one of these, think about saving a life with one of these. The city of Kabwe sits in the central province of Zambia. It was founded as a mining town, but the real jewel of the city is the Kabwe Adventist School. Over the last decade, the Kabwe Adventist School has set itself apart in the sea of education choices in town. Local Adventist families aren't the only ones sending their children to study here. Currently, 65% of the student population is non-Adventist. The local community at large has discovered the high-quality education offered on campus.
Because now we also have a challenge of enrollments, because many people are coming, okay? They have realized that Adventist education is sweet. They want to taste that sweetness. And every time we just, no, there's no space, no, there's no space.
There were more than 500 students meeting in a space designed for far less capacity, and there was a long waiting list for admission. The campus needed to grow, but they had no resources to do so. Plus, the current school is landlocked with no physical space to expand. Local church leaders identified a large plot of land, and Maranatha quickly began construction on a 12-classroom elementary campus. On March 3, 2020, students flooded onto the new campus, eager to learn in their bright new school. But the school administration sees the buildings as more than classrooms. They've been given more opportunities to share Christ.
Most of them will never have an opportunity to get to a church building to actually listen through to the gospel. But when they come to Christian school, that's the one opportunity they have. So actually have more of an opportunity to minister to them and to share Christ to them. So it's beautiful when we see the campus growing that much. We have more spaces open to actually preach the gospel to them.
Now that the Kabwe campus is complete, Maranatha has begun work at another school in Zambia. The Emmanuel Adventist Secondary School opened in 2011, and over the years, enrollment has grown to 300 students. The original buildings on campus were built through the sacrifice of many people who desired children in this area to have a quality Christian education. But as the school has grown, the space is now inadequate. Maranatha responded to their need by building a block of 3 classrooms and a girls' dormitory, and not even a global pandemic could stop the work. Maranatha crews sheltered in place on the campus to work on the buildings. When complete, these structures will help the school expand their reach. Zambia isn't the only place on the African continent where new school structures are making an immense impact. The Adventist Church in Kenya sees schools as a major component to spreading the gospel all across their country. School campuses not only teach the usual subjects of reading and math, but help students to develop relationships with God. The Kiutini Adventist School is one such place. The campus is home to more than 200 high school students, all hungry for the opportunity to receive a quality education despite the deplorable condition of the campus.
The school is very humble indeed, but it is humble with Jesus. Yeah, we have the teachers who are very humble to us, who are ready to listen at any point. Whenever we need them, they are ready to listen to us. We have our neighbors who takes care of us. Yeah, and the school runs very nice, and that impressed me so much, and I feel I'm comfortable. Although the condition is not favorable, I thank God for everything.
Humble is an understatement. This is where the girls slept. And this is their shower area. Meals were both prepared and consumed in the open.
And I walked through there and my thought was, man, this place is going to close. It's terrible. No parent would even allow their kid to come here, let alone a child staying there. They'd say, hey, I'm out of here. But they're so committed to getting an education, and a Christian education specifically, that they've put up with those conditions. But, it's surprising how well that they've done. But I don't say that's good enough. In my mind, I say, what could it be? What should it be? And what can we do? And Kiutini specifically has touched a lot of our hearts as we go there, because you can absolutely see the potential. The kids are great. They're wonderful, but you know that they can be more.
Maranatha immediately began putting together an extensive master plan for the Kiutini campus. Groups of Maranatha volunteers began constructing new dormitories, classrooms, bathrooms, a kitchen, and a cafeteria. A water well was drilled on campus, solving the school's major water supply issue. And beautiful landscaping has transformed the campus into an educational oasis. The inauguration of the new buildings was an exuberant experience as students expressed their joy and gratitude for completely transforming their home.
May God bless you for the wonderful work that you have done into our school. If it was not for you, we don't know where we could be. You have really transformed this school. We can't express the gratitude you have, because you have been really good to us. You have really helped us come from the situation that we were in until now. It's great. May God bless you.
The Kiutini School is not the only campus in Kenya that has received a Maranatha overhaul. For nearly 20 years, the Kajiado Adventist School and Rescue Center has served as a haven for Maasai girls who were running away from child marriages and a traditional female circumcision known as FGM. The school is helping set these girls on a bright path towards a future of opportunity. They are providing a home to those who have none, yet the facilities are inadequate.
Now here we are crowded because we are sleeping to two and still the beds are small. But still we thank God because there are so many who don't have even a place to sleep. But I think it is also good to build a bigger one so that many other girls can come and join us.
I have cases of 46 girls who wanted to come in, but I don't have the space, honestly. I just gave promises that just give me some more time. But in case of any danger, please consult us. Let us know. But we don't have the space.
In 2018, Maranatha agreed to provide the Kajiado School with a number of new structures, including 2 girls' dorms with showers and toilets, a boys' dorm for the 45 boys who also attend, and an administrative office. Maranatha also drilled a new well on campus to replace an old one that was not providing enough water. And new secondary school dormitories and classrooms mean students can further their education and stay on the campus that has become their home. Though they are mere buildings, this new infrastructure is changing life for hundreds of children, giving them an opportunity for a future and space to learn about Jesus. When we come back, transformation continues as we visit more schools Maranatha is helping.
Know any kids spending more time at home this summer? Introduce them to Maranatha Kids, a weekly missions adventure taking children all around the globe. Kids will learn about interesting cultures, hear new languages, and explore the world with Maranatha. Along the way, they'll also see the challenges some people face each day. They'll go inside dismal classrooms in India, walk with women searching for water in Kenya, and observe worship conditions in Peru. They'll also see how Maranatha is helping in all of these places and more. With videos created just for kids and a companion discussion guide, children will grow in their love for missions through conversation, reflection, and prayer. And this program is completely free. Simply visit maranatha.org/kids to sign up, and you'll receive a weekly email with brand new content. This week, get your kids thinking about missions in your family worship, Sabbath school, or children's story. Sign up for Maranatha Kids today.
Adventism came to the West African nation of Côte d'Ivoire 100 years ago. But despite the long history, membership is small, at less than 10,000. Church leaders see Adventist education as an important part of their plan to reach more of Côte d'Ivoire for Christ.
Et l'école est un puissant facteur d'évangélisation. Parce que éducation et rédemption sont une seule et même chose. Là où il y a une école de 6 classes, ça fait 6 églises. Donc plus nous avons beaucoup de salles de classe, plus nous avons beaucoup plus d'églises. Et ça va booster le travail missionnaire. C'est pourquoi il est extrêmement important d'avoir beaucoup d'écoles ici en Côte d'Ivoire.
In 2020, Maranatha began work in Côte d'Ivoire to construct schools and churches. For years, the Abbé Brocquois congregation met on a patio. Maranatha crews have been putting the final touches on a new church and school classrooms for the group. The new church and school will provide a quality place of worship and the only Christian school in the area. Maranatha is also building a secondary school, grades 6 through 12, on the property of the Nyangun Seventh-day Adventist Church. This area has plenty of primary schools, but there are few options for secondary students. A new Adventist high school will provide for an urgent need while introducing people to the gospel. For the Adventist Church in Côte d'Ivoire, schools have opened the door to new communities and hearts, providing a welcoming space where children and young people can be educated and learn about the love of Jesus. The power of proper places to worship and learn is something familiar to the Adventist Church in Peru. Between 2004 and 2006, Maranatha completed nearly 100 church and school projects throughout the country. And in 2019, Maranatha agreed to return and begin the work of a major effort in Peru. The town of La Tinguina sits on the outskirts of the city of Ica. Tourists visit the region to see the oasis in Huacachina or the mysterious Nazca lines. This community has had an Adventist presence since 1970, and in 1975, the group was given a piece of land on which to build a church. But for the last 40 years, the congregation and community have dreamed of starting a school. In October of 2019, the congregation demolished their church, and Maranatha began construction of a large education and evangelism center. Construction has been paused due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but when complete, it will join the 7 other similar structures that have been making an immense impact all over Peru. From India to Africa to South America, Maranatha is making a difference in the lives of thousands of families through the construction of schools. Building simple bush classrooms or large campuses is more than erecting formations of block and steel. It's about instilling change in the lives of others. God has led Maranatha to build more than 3,000 classrooms all over the world, serving more than 100,000 students. But our work cannot continue without your generous support. Will you give to this important mission? Give so that children no longer have to live and learn in shameful circumstances. Give to help a new generation become a force for good in their world. Give because without your support, we risk children losing the opportunity to meet Jesus.
You know, the easy thing is to sit back and say, this isn't really my responsibility. What's this got to do with me? Yeah, these people have it tough, but you know, I've got my challenges in my life, and we all do. But one of the things that happens is when you start helping somebody else, your own life starts to change. And you know, happiness comes by the joy of impacting, helping someone else's life, and with meaningful involvement. And if you do nothing, you lose all that personally. The church doesn't grow. People there, in whatever country it is, they don't hear about the God of the universe who loves them and wants them in His kingdom. So the loss is huge, especially when you consider the fact that each individual soul is so valuable to God. So the loss is, it's beyond words. You can't put a number on it. But as you get involved, the positive side of that is that people will be in the kingdom.